So my name is Matt Williams, and I'm here on behalf of the office of Senator Joe Donnelly, and I'm here at the Danville 4-H Fair Center, and I am interviewing
Ralph James Wilson.
Okay, so I'm interviewing Mr. Wilson. So, Mr. Wilson, let's start with where and when were you born?
I was born December 12th, 1930.
Okay. And what city were you born in?
I was born in Chicago,
Oh, Chicago.
and I grew up in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah,
What was it like growing up in Chicago?
it was wonderful.
Really?
I loved it. I still love it, you know. But we moved out to the west now,
Okay.
you know. Actually, east.
The East.
Yeah,
Where do
we're
you live
in
now?
Indiana. We were in Chicago, and we moved to Indiana.
Okay. So what city do you live in now?
Granger.
Granger,
Indiana.
That's up north.
Yeah,
north
right,
of here.
right on the border
Okay.
between Indiana and Michigan.
Yeah.
In fact, you go out my back door, you'll be in Michigan.
I'd be in Michigan. Okay, so who were your parents?
My parents was my father was Michael Wilson. His name was Raymond Bertram Wilson,
Okay.
but he changed his name to Michael. So everybody over here in Michigan knew him as Michael Wilson
So why did he change his name?
because he liked Michael.
Because he liked Michael.
Right, and he didn't like Raymond.
He didn't like Raymond. Okay. And who's your mom?
My mother is Cecil Wilson.
Cecil.
Yeah, Cecil. Cecile.
Okay.
And she married my father, and she had 6 kids by him,
Okay.
but he left the family.
He left the family.
Yeah. And
So-
he was the Indian.
He was the Indian.
Yeah.
Okay. So
My mother wasn't.
your mother wasn't.
No.
So that's a what Native American tribe are you affiliated with?
Potawatomi.
Potawatomi.
Yeah. Potawatomi, Pokagon band.
Pokagon. Okay. And how has that affiliation impacted your life?
My son is the one that got me into it.
Really?
Yeah. He was in there first,
Okay.
you know. And then he told me, he says, you could come over and join, you know.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm too old to join. He said, no, you're not.
Well, obviously they accepted you in.
They accepted
Yeah.
me, yeah.
Okay. So so you said you were one of 6
One
siblings?
of 6 kids, yeah.
So
2 are gone now,
2 are gone.
yeah.
Did any of your siblings serve in the military?
What?
Did any of your siblings serve in the military?
No,
No. So you were the only one.
I'm the only one.
Okay. So let's talk about that. How did that happen? How did you end up?
I was
becoming
looking for a job.
You were looking for a job.
Yeah, I was about 17 years old, and I was looking for a job, and we had moved. My grandmother died,
Okay.
and we moved to Michigan,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
And I stayed in Chicago. I was working on the job there. And
Where
then
were
I
you
also-
working in Chicago?
Huh?
What were you doing in Chicago?
I don't recall.
Okay.
It was some kind of factory job,
Yeah.
you know. And I lost that, so I says I'll move out to Michigan with the
Okay.
family. So I moved out to Michigan, and I didn't really like it.
You didn't like Michigan?
No, but
It's
I
definitely
stayed
not
there for a
Chicago.
while, and I met a guy called Bill Swisher.
Bill Swisher.
Yeah, he eventually become my sister's husband.
Okay.
You know?
So brother-in-law.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
brother. But actually, what happened was him and I was running around together trying to find work, you know. But most of the time, we only get 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
And I said, that ain't no job, you know. And then one of his friends come over and said, do like me, I joined the army.
Okay.
Join the army.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll join the army. So I had to get my mother's permission.
Because you were 17.
Yeah, and then they said, we'll come back when you are 18.
The
That was
army told you
in
that.
December. You know.
Okay.
So they came back and they says, okay, you can join, you know.
Mm.
You're 18 now. And then they want me to go before Christmas. And I said, I ain't going before Christmas. You know, I said, this is my family here.
Yeah.
So I stayed, and then later on I said, well, I'll go maybe after Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, so I went after Christmas, and I got over to, what's the name of that there place? I can't even think of it anymore. It's Fort Dearborn.
Fort Dearborn?
Fort Dearborn, Michigan.
Okay. And what year was this?
The 1948.
1948.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were born in 1930.
Right.
Okay.
And anyways, they swore me in on the 3rd of January.
Wow, so pretty quickly after Christmas you were sworn
Right,
into the Army.
right.
And then, so
And
did
then
you,
I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky.
was that for boot camp? Or
That's
training camp?
for basic training.
Basic training.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about basic training a little bit. What was that like?
It was actually fun.
It was fun.
It was
really.
a game for me.
You
I was
these
young
interviews-
and I guess a little bit. I had energy where I don't have now, and I could run and I could walk and I do all the stuff, you know. But I didn't really like it that much, you know.
Yeah.
It was fun for a while, and after a while it got boring. I said, "When can we go home?" They say, "Not till after you finish."
So how long were you in basic training?
I think it's about 13 weeks or something like that.
13 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow. I could definitely see where that would get boring after a while.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
when they did leave me go, I went back home. I had to hitchhike.
you had to
back
hitchhike
in-
back home?
Back in those days, yeah, we didn't have money.
Gosh.
We
Yeah.
didn't have money, so we always hitchhiked
So you hitchhiked from Fort Knox, Kentucky, all the way back to Michigan.
to Hartford, Michigan.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would happen nowadays.
It don't happen anymore because I guess it's a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Back in those days, it wasn't dangerous.
It wasn't
I
dangerous.
used to go. Most of my hitchhiking was at night.
Really?
Yeah, in
Oh,
the dark.
That's a different world back then.
There you go. It was a lot different.
Yeah. So when you were in basic training, do you recall any of your instructors from basic training?
Not by name.
Not by name? No. Can you picture any
I
vivid
mean, you're
memories?
talking about a long time ago.
I know. Do you have any memories from basic training? Anything that stands out?
The only thing that stood out was a friend of mine from
Okay.
Chicago.
From Chicago.
We used to be real close friends. Ever since we was 5 years old.
Hmm.
And we grew up together, and I moved to Michigan, and he stayed there in Chicago.
Okay.
And I joined the Army, and he found out I joined the Army. So he said, I'll join the Army too.
Really?
And yeah, he says, maybe we could get together, you know.
Yeah.
So he came down to Fort Knox,
Hmm.
and we tried to get back and forth together.
Hmm.
I'd go over there, he'd be gone. And he's coming over to my house, my company, trying to find me.
And you'd be gone.
And I'd be gone.
So what was his name?
Huh? Bill
was-
Martin.
Bill Martin?
Yeah.
So
He's gone now.
yeah.
He passed away.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But like I say, we did have a lot of problems trying to get back and forth to each other, you know. And the only time I did catch him is one time he was on KP.
Okay, what's KP?
KP is kitchen police.
Kitchen police.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's where you have to wash dishes,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And he was working in there, and he couldn't go nowhere.
Yeah.
And I
'cause
couldn't
he's-
talk because he was busy. You know?
Uh-huh.
And he says, "Come back when he's not busy." You know.
So, how did you adapt to military life?
Huh?
How did you adapt to military life? Was it easy? Did you
It
struggle to
was
adapt?
easy. It was easy. Yeah. In fact, I had a lot of fun doing it. You know.
Like,
As I got older, as I got to a point where I understood what was going on, I started teaching a little bit.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I went to West Point,
Oh, no way.
yeah, as a teacher.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you go to West Point as a teacher?
That was back there when I was about 19. I think it was 18 or 19, I'm not sure. But what happened was I moved after basic training.
Mm-hmm.
I moved to Oklahoma,
Okay.
Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Fort Sill.
Yeah. And they told me if I want a job
Mm-hmm.
or I want to go to a school or something like that, they said, look at the board. They have a roster up there, the board.
Yeah.
And they have all the different jobs
Mm-hmm.
and schooling that's open. And they said, if you want it, just sign your name on it. So they had a West Point thing there.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll sign my name on it. So I signed my name. And they called me in the office and they said, you want to go to West Point? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, it's a teaching job,
Mm-hmm.
right? He said, we need 30 people. And we got 30 people,
Yeah.
you know? So they said, the only thing we could do is keep you on there as a supernumerary.
Okay.
That means if somebody is not available,
Mm-hmm.
they get sick or something like that,
Yeah.
break a leg,
Yeah.
they can't go, you know, they says, you can
You'll
go,
get called up.
you
Yeah.
know. But they called me a week before they were going to go.
And
they
said they
said,
needed you.
there's a guy that got sick, right?
Wow.
And they said, he can't go. So they said, do you still want to go? And I said, yeah. And he said, you're going to have to learn about the 105 howitzer.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what the 105 howitzer was.
I don't know what the 105 howitzer was.
Yeah.
Is?
It was a cannon.
It was a cannon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, they says, if you want to go, we'll put you with a sergeant that's real good on
Yeah.
everything about the 105. And he'll teach you,
Okay.
you know. And he did.
He taught you everything
He taught me everything I needed to know in 1 week.
in 1 week.
1 week.
And then you were teaching at West Point.
And then I went to West Point.
Wow. So West Point was before, well,
Before the war.
I'm
It
getting
was
ahead of
before the
myself.
war. It was,
Okay.
it was before Korea.
Okay, so you were in the military when the Korean War started.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I was
Were you
in,
at
in
West
the Army for 2.5 years. And in another 6 months, I was going to get out of the Army.
Oh, and then the war
and then
started.
the war started.
So
They said, well, you got to stay.
so they told you had to stay.
And I said, I don't want to stay. I said, I don't want to fight a war. I said, I spent already 2.5 years here, you know. And they said, we need you.
And so
You
you
got
stayed.
experience, you know.
Yeah.
So they said, we're going to get a bunch of soldiers in the Army right now,
Hmm.
and we need somebody to teach them, you know.
And you probably had experience,
Yeah.
doing that with West Point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they kept me on as a teacher.
Okay. So let's talk about
So I was staying in the 18th Field Artillery at the time,
the 18th Field Artillery.
and that's in Oklahoma, Fort Sill,
Yeah.
right? And then after the war started, they told us we're going to start working all day long, every day.
Yeah.
Not just 8 hours, but maybe about 18, 20 hours,
Wow.
you know? And this is 7 days a week.
Jeez. And were you teaching new recruits?
No, we were actually cleaning guns.
Oh, so you were doing
Put
like
them
everything.
in cosmoline and wrapping them up and stuff like that to ship overseas.
Wow.
And then a unit come in from Roanoke, Virginia,
Okay.
and they says, we need people, and we need guns and stuff like that there. And they called all of the artillery people from these different companies.
Yeah.
Says, you go over and help them, you know? And I was one of the people they called, and we were going to Korea.
Okay. So what year did you go to Korea?
Years, I don't know years. It's 1950, I think.
1950?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you get over to Korea? Did you go by ship or plane?
It was by ship.
By ship. How long did that take? What was that journey like?
It was a bad trip.
It was a bad trip?
Yeah, because we had a guy that was in charge,
Okay.
right? He was what they call a gung-ho
Yeah.
type person, you know. And he wanted to go over right now. But they told us we had to wait here for a week for people from Washington State to come down.
Okay.
He didn't want to wait.
He didn't want to wait.
So he told us all, just get on the ship, go to sleep, and in the morning we'll let you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
In the morning we was already sailing down, sailing across the ocean.
So did you not wait for the people from Washington State?
We didn't get those people. And
sent away without
before we got to Japan now, before we got to Japan, there was a helicopter flew over and stopped us and told us we can't go into Japan
them. Okay. Why?
because he disobeyed orders.
Because he disobeyed orders.
Right.
Yeah.
He said, you can't go in. He says, you can park outside, about
Yeah.
3 miles, and then you can send ships in there with some of the people,
Yeah.
and then bring them back, and it's another lower, and you only have so many people go at one time.
Oh my goodness. So how long? So
And I'm a Wilson.
you were one of the last
That's
ones.
my name, so I was the last boat. And I went in there and they said, you only got 45 minutes.
Oh
That
my
means you can walk up the street here, walk across the street, go down here, come across the street, get back on a boat.
And go back to the ship.
Yes,
Jeez.
that's all of Japan I got.
That's all the Japan you got. So you really didn't stay in Japan that long.
I didn't get no Japan.
You didn't get no Japan. So you went from Japan to Korea, or was there another pit stop?
There was another pit stop. We went from the point where we was at, and I think it's Yokohama or something like that,
Okay.
to another place on the other end of the island
Of Japan?
of Japan. yeah.
Okay.
And while we was at Japan, at this island, this here station that was at, they told us, don't go outside because people might shoot you.
Oh my goodness.
I said, they're supposed to be friendly,
They said no.
No, it don't work that way. So anyways, we
So you didn't go outside.
stayed there for a couple of days, and then we went from there to Korea.
And it was there to Korea. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Korea then. So
Uh-huh.
you get to Korea. Where's the first place you went once you got to Korea?
We went to a place where they had a very strong smell,
A very strong
And we-
smell.
and we had to sleep there. And
Is it
they
a
said,
good
well, what
smell?
is it? They said, there used to be bodies here.
Oh my
And they
goodness.
moved the bodies over here, scraped it up, and scraped the bodies back and brought the dirt back over it. And that's where you're sleeping.
Wow.
And it was a smelly place.
Oh, I'm sure. So were
Yeah.
these?
And
Yeah. Wow.
Korea was smelly before we got there even. We smelled them coming. I said, where is it at? They said, it's over there someplace.
So what was your? What did you do in Korea? Were you?
I
What was
was,
your role?
I was a corporal, I was an outpost leader,
Okay.
and I was a courier. I drove a 3/4 ton truck,
Oh wow.
and I had a radio on my truck, so that put me as being the third in line when we go on the convoy.
Yeah.
I went behind the jeeps,
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was my job. basically all I did was just drive back and forth between our outfit and headquarters.
Okay. So, did you?
And they used to shoot at me.
Well, you beat me to the next question. I was going to ask, did you see combat while you were in Korea?
Yeah, we was there for about 9 months, something like that.
You were in Korea for 9 months during the war. Okay.
And like I say, when I was working there as a driver, you know, we drive. Me and an Italian friend of mine, I can't remember his name, but an Italian friend of mine, him and I used to race down the road, you know.
In your trucks? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whenever we heard the pop, we pulled off the side of the road.
Yeah.
Because we know they're shooting at him.
Oh my goodness.
So we pull off the side to hide, you know.
Yeah.
And then after it explodes, then we take off again.
Oh.
Come back to the road and head down the road. We know we get so far, and they can't shoot us anymore. Even if we're here, we don't even bother with it. Because we're past that point.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow. So,
a couple of times, I met my brother-in-law there. His first time. He was in the Marines, and he said, "Can I go over to your outfit?" And I said, "Sure. Why not? Get in the truck, and I'll take you." But I said, "You got to pay attention to me. What I tell you to do, you do. You know." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Sometimes they shoot at us, you know." And I said, "When they do, we got to stop the car, jump off the side, you know."
Yeah.
And get in a low spot, so that we don't get shot.
So were you ever scared, or did this just become part of your life?
I never got scared. For some reason, it didn't bother me that much. But I went over the hill one time because we went into the lunchroom to eat.
Okay.
And they started shooting. And everybody ran. I said, "Where's everybody going?" And then I heard the bomb go off, you know. And I said, "Now I know." So I ran, and I got as far as the door, and another bomb come in.
Oh my goodness.
So I just stopped, and then I looked out, and my hole was over there, and the ditch was over there.
Yeah.
So I headed for the ditch. When I got over the ditch, there was my first sergeant.
Okay.
Was right next to me.
Yeah, in the ditch.
And he was
shaking?
He was scared, yeah. And I said, "How come he's scared?" I'm not scared. I just get out of the way when they shoot.
So what did he say to you?
And like I said, he didn't talk.
He didn't talk?
After it was all over, he got back up and went in his office.
Wow. So
that's something I remember.
That was something you remember?
Yeah.
I've made of sterner stuff than I am. I feel like I'd be scared if someone was shooting at me. But.
Yeah. The only time I really got scared was one time they says, "Who wants to go down and see a Korean show?"
Okay.
So I said, "Well, I do," you know. He said, "Well, get on the truck and we'll take you down there." So he went down there, and I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like the show. So I said, "I'm going to walk home." And then when the truck comes, right, they can pick me up. And so anyways, I had my machine gun with me, you know. And I said, if anybody meets me along the way, right, I got protection, you know. So anyways, I was walking down the road. I got maybe about 3 blocks away.
Okay.
And the bus started coming, or the truck started coming. It's a big old giant truck, you know. And then I said, I don't know if I should, it's getting dark.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know if I should get out in front of this truck because they might shoot me.
So what'd you do?
I did. I got up. I held my hands up.
They stopped and picked you up?
Yeah. They say, "Who are you? Are you the enemy?" I said, "I hope not."
Okay.
So, anyways, they finally picked me up and they said, put me on the front bumper, took my gun back there, and they said, where's your outfit? I told them up there. So he says, okay, we'll drive you up there, and if they know you, right,
Yeah.
everything will be okay. I got up there, and they asked somebody, you know this guy? And they said, no, we don't know him.
Oh, no.
So anyways, after a while, they realized I
Yeah.
belonged there, you know. So they give me the gun back and everything. And I thanked them for the ride.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I see you rewarded the Korean Service Medal with 2 Bronze Stars. Can we
Yeah.
talk about that?
Well, I did. I had one time I was Anthony, that's our leader,
Okay.
right? He said, will you talk a little bit about your Korean adventures, right?
Yeah.
If we give you a plaque or something? And I said, sure, why not?
Okay.
So anyways, they give me a plaque,
Mm-hmm.
and I said a speech, you know,
Yeah.
about a Korean adventure. The only thing I didn't tell them what triggered the thing, you know.
Okay.
Actually, we were coming into a valley.
Coming into a valley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we was coming into a valley, different units, all artillery,
Okay.
you know. And we were supposed to shoot over the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know what for, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyways, we was all pulling in there, and we was in there for a couple of days, and other troops start coming in, Marines coming in, infantry coming in, and they got different spots, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, we got the valley pretty much filled up with artillery,
Yeah.
you know. And the last outfit to come in, right, pulled over to an area like this.
Yeah.
And they started setting up. And this is the trigger. This is the one that caused the whole thing to start.
Okay.
Is because from back over the mountains, the enemy could see this spot,
Right there.
the one spot there.
Yeah.
The other spots they couldn't see, but that one spot they could see, and they saw people setting up there.
Mm-hmm.
So they started shooting
Because of that one spot.
because of that one spot. And they were really tearing that spot up.
Oh,
You know?
jeez.
And it got so bad, you know, we all got tears in our eyes, you know,
Yeah.
just looking at what was going on. And then the officers finally just started shooting back and stopped those guys, you know.
Yeah.
And then they started shooting back to stop them. And finally they stopped them, but when they did, they went over to see what they could do to help.
Mm-hmm.
And they found out that 75% of the people were gone.
Oh my gosh.
And the other people that were left were still shooting,
Yeah.
you know, but they're wounded.
Okay.
And people was wounded and they're still shooting.
Yeah.
And like I say, this started the war, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
And like I say, this was the trigger. And these people were all colored people.
Really?
It was a colored unit, and they stood there fighting all the time they were being bombed.
Jeez. That's
That was
crazy.
one terrible spot to be
Yeah.
in, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, how long? So, you ended up spending, you said, like 9 months in Korea, right?
Yeah.
So, after your 9 months, were you sent back to the United States? Did you go-
Yes, I started back on Thanksgiving Day.
Okay. So,
You
you
know?
came back to the U.S. on Thanksgiving
Yeah.
Day.
I came down from the north down to Busan.
Okay. So, you were
Where-
still in Korea on
where she- yeah,
Thanksgiving.
they-
Yeah.
Then they shipped me out from there. But like I say, basically that's about all it was. I mean, there was war.
Mm-hmm.
There was fighting and stuff like that. And like I say, from this spot here,
Mhm.
the trigger, right? From that time on, we started shooting. And then they says, we're going to work on what they call TOT.
Okay.
That means time on target.
Yeah.
And he says, the ones in the farthest place away will shoot first. The next one will shoot next, and so on down.
Yeah.
And when they all land at the same time.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what they call time on target.
Okay.
And they were shooting over there, and after they done this part, that was the part that I told a speech about.
Yeah.
And anyways, when they done this here, they told us the next morning, right, that we broke what they call the Iron Triangle.
Okay. What's the Iron Triangle?
The Iron Triangle was 3 mountains.
Yeah.
That they had, that the enemy had control of.
Okay.
And they didn't let none of our people get through.
Yeah.
You know, and they were stopped right there. Got killed a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of our people.
Yeah.
And
so
like
you
I
were
said,
part of the group that helped
and we
break
broke
that.
it.
Wow.
We broke it all at once, you know. But like I say, it's just there one outfit that started it, you know.
And it was, wow, that's incredible. So
Yeah.
you saw the outfit that started that, and then you were able to help break the Iron Triangle.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just incredible. So, what other memories you have of, either your time in Korea or your time coming back to the United States?
Well, like I say, coming back to the United States, everything here going down, every stop we made, we had to have a physical. Everybody
Okay.
check us and give us different clothes and stuff like that.
And make sure you're okay.
Yeah, make sure they didn't want us to bring any diseases back.
Yeah.
You know, because we've been over here for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and our clothes are soiled.
Yeah.
So they said they didn't want them. They give us new clothes all the time.
Was that at every stop you got new clothes?
Every stop.
Wow. And you got a whole new wardrobe every time.
Oh, I mean, they would take the old stuff.
Yeah.
You know, when I would get it here, go to the next spot, and they would take the clothes here, give us new clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the next spot, they'd take the old clothes and give us
you new clothes, yeah.
You know, and like I say, when we finally got on the boat and started back home, that's when the feelings started coming in.
Really?
You know, because we didn't think we'd ever make it back.
Really?
Yeah. Basically, all the time I was there, I was getting paid $10 a month.
For the entire time you were in Korea, you were getting paid $10 a month.
Yeah.
Jeez. And that was with, all the mental stress you were going through, all the physical stress
Right.
you were going through, and it was all $10 a month.
And $10 a month.
So wow.
And then when I got over there to the point where they were going to let me out of the Army, they told me I owe them money.
They told you owed them money?
Yeah.
Why?
And I said, what's going on here anyways? I said, I'm not supposed to be owing you. You're supposed to be paying me something, you know? And they said, well, basically what it was is back before Korea started, they had allotments. I had allotment going to my mother, right? And they says, we're going to stop the allotment. 3 months later, Korea started. And they said, go sign up again, and they'll give you the allotment,
Yeah.
for your mother. So I said, okay, I must sign up again. They denied it.
They denied the allotment.
Yeah. And all the money they were sending to my mother came out of my paycheck.
Oh.
And I wasn't getting it. I said, where's the money at?
Yeah.
I was supposed to be getting some money. And they say, well, you sign up for allotment, right? And they said they're making up for back payment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're paying your mother out of your money. So I said, okay, well, when will I get my money? And they say, as soon as we get her paid off,
Yeah. So did you ever get your money?
And then when I got to the point they're going to discharge me, right? They say, you owe us money.
Oh my gosh. So what year was that? What year did you get discharged?
I think it's 1951, 1952 or something.
December 1951.
December of 1951. So you joined in 48 when you were 18.
Yeah.
And you were discharged in December of 51.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I went over in spring of 51 and got out in Thanksgiving
Yeah.
51.
So did you make it home for Christmas?
Huh?
Did you make it home for Christmas?
No, it was, you made it home for Christmas. It was December
Yeah.
51.
Yeah.
Not Thanksgiving.
No, I said I was leaving Korea.
Yeah, he was leaving
Oh,
Korea
leaving
at
Korea.
Thanksgiving.
Leaving
Yeah.
Korea on on Thanksgiving Day. See, they were passing out uniforms, heavy duty uniforms
Yeah.
for winter to everybody and said, you don't get one.
So you were in the summer uniform still.
Uh-huh.
Your fall uniform?
I just had a summer uniform,
Jeez.
and it was cold.
So was
So anyways, like I say, they told me, you don't need it, you're going home anyways, and next stop you go to, they're gonna take all your clothes anyways and give you new clothes. So don't worry about it. And as I went down hill, right, it got a little bit warmer. So I didn't have no problems.
So where were you discharged at? What city? Do you remember?
It was in Colorado.
Colorado?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of
Yeah.
the place, you know, but it was in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Korean War was still going on when you left, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember what you were doing when you heard the Korean War ended?
No.
No. Okay.
I didn't think about the Korean. That's right.
Once you got out, you didn't think about it.
I gave it up. I said, no, I'm home now. I'm not going to think about it no more.
Okay, so what'd you do when you got home?
Look for a job.
Looked for a job. Did you find one?
It took me a while, but I found one.
Where'd you get a job at?
But I can't recall right now. But I know one time I went down to buy a shirt.
Okay.
We saw it in paper. You get 2 shirts for $5.
2 shirts for $5.
Yeah. So I said, let's go down and get them shirts, you know,
Mm-hmm.
for $5. Then I said, can I get credit? And they said, no.
They
I
said
said,
no.
I was in the Army. And they said, that don't make no difference.
Really?
You ain't got no credit because you never worked at no job here. Right? You got to have a job
Yeah.
to get credit. So anyways, I left without 2 shirts
You left without 2 shirts.
and wear my Army uniform.
Mm. So what was it like coming back into civilian life after your time in Korea?
It was rough.
It was rough?
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of scared.
Really?
Yeah, because like I said, I didn't have a job and couldn't get no credit. I even had trouble buying cigarettes. I smoked at the time.
Yeah.
And they told me I needed proof
But you were in the Army?
that I was old enough to smoke.
Oh. They didn't believe you were old enough. And you just served 9 months in Korea.
Right. Yeah,
So
9 months in the Korea.
Yeah, 9
Yeah,
months.
yeah.
So how did your family receive you? Were they happy to see that?
I had no family. I mean, basically, I had a family, yeah. I did have a brother and sisters and a mother.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't have a wife or no children or nothing like that. And I came back and they welcomed me back and everything. And my younger sister, not the youngest one, but the next younger,
Okay.
had a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I want you to meet my girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, we go to school together. So I said, okay. So I went out there to meet her, and she didn't want to meet me.
She didn't want to meet you.
And that's when I married.
That's who you married. So eventually she got around to meeting you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty good after a while.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. So you married her, And you had kids. How many children did you have?
6.
6 children.
3 boys and 3 girls.
Okay. So you became, a married man, a father, you got a job. How did your time in the service impact your wife as far as raising them, as far as your work life, stuff like that?
Oh, they like the way I folded my socks. They said, "You know how to make beds?" I said, "Yeah, I know how to make a bed."
Make sure the sheets are extra tight.
There you go.
Okay, so
And basically, it was very easy to get along.
it was easy to get along.
Yeah. They never pressured me at all.
They never pressured you at all.
No.
That's good. So we'll come to some of our last few questions. I guess I'll start with, what message would you like to leave for future generations who will hear this interview?
Yeah. Well, if they like it, they should join the Army,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Joining the Army is a helpful situation.
It's helpful, yeah.
Yeah. Because you're not only helping the people that's in civilian life that don't even know you,
Mhm.
but you're helping people that you do know
Yeah.
in the Army.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you maintain any friendships from your time in the military?
Yes, I maintained a lot of friendships, but like I say, I lost them all after I got out.
Yeah.
And I had a friend in Oklahoma that I knew some other people that didn't have money.
Mhm.
So I give it to this friend. I say, "Here, give him some money because I'm going with the people over to Korea."
Yeah.
Right? So I said, "Give them the money. They need it, to get back home." So anyways, he said, "I'll give it to him." And he forgot.
You forgot to give
He
them
forgot to give it to him. And when he went looking for him, they weren't nowhere around. He said they left. They went to a different outfit,
Yeah.
And he says, "I kept that money in my pocket and it burned a hole in my pocket all these years." He contacted me 50 years afterwards.
50 years?
50 years.
To give you your money back?
Yeah, he's looking for me. He's
Wow.
looking in all the phone books and
Yeah.
stuff about Chicago, see if they could find my name.
And did he finally find you?
He found 10 names. Ralph Wilson, right? So he contacted every one of them. And he says, "If you know me, right,
Yeah.
contact me." So I wrote him a letter. I said, "I know a person like that,"
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But I said, "We knew a girl,
Okay.
a special girl. Him and I knew her, right?
Yeah.
And she had a very strange name." Yeah, he said he would be the only one who knows who I'm
Her
talking
name,
about.
yeah.
And he wrote back and told me what her name was. So I said, "This got to be the right guy."
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So what was her name?
Stuff Letter was the last name.
Stuff Letter was the last name. Huh.
Yeah.
That is a strange name.
Yeah, I said the only one guy knows him and I.
Him and you. So, do you have any life lessons that you learned from your time in the military?
Was she what?
Life lessons you learned from your time in the military?
She liked everything we'd done in the military, but she didn't know of anything that I'd done,
Okay.
And I didn't talk about it too much.
You didn't talk about it too much?
No, some of the stuff you don't want to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. I understand. So I guess my last question is, second to last question. How has your military service impacted your feelings about war and about the military in general?
Well, like I say, it didn't affect me as far as disliking the Army or anything because of it.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I disliked them about is they only paid me $10 a month.
They only gave you $10 a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all the time I was over there. And one time I had what they call a grease gun.
Okay.
It was a machine gun, but it's built like a grease gun.
Yeah.
And I got a chance to get a Thompson submachine gun,
Okay.
but I needed 5 cans of beer. And they give everybody 2 cans of beer.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it.
You couldn't get.
With $10, you can't get 3 other cans. And that's all it took was 5 cans of beer. I could have bought a Thompson submachine
And you didn't have 5 cans.
and I
You just
couldn't
had
get
2.
it.
Jeez. So I guess the last question is there anything you want added to this interview that we didn't cover?
No, I think we pretty much covered most of it.
Okay. I'm sure it wasn't comprehensive, but as long as we got
Yeah.
enough. Well, I appreciate you giving me this opportunity. I really thank you for telling your story, and yeah, it was an honor to be able to interview you.
I hope it helped a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.